So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, hits to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, sweeps down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, everybody? It is your boys, Mike and Breezy. We are back, guys. No harm, no foul. All right, Wayne, let's go ahead and get this out the way because I see some questions already. They haven't been paying attention. You want to let them know what's going on?
Oh, for sure. Real quick. So we are doing 2 different shows, and they're going to be exclusively now on each other's channel. So BAM's show will be on my channel Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And the No Harm, No Foul show will be right here on the Nothing But Niners channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
There you go. So you guys got to make sure you are locked in, subscribed on both channels so you guys can get your daily content, your daily dose of 49ers talk every day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m., all right? So get it here while you can. Bro, Wayne, what's going on with you, man? How you feeling today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good. Had a good workout today. And now it's good to be here. Just to talk. I just like talking with you, bro. Like that. It's the only thing that matters. I look forward to 4 p.m., bro. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
A little bit of early therapy once a day is not bad for anybody, right?
Yeah, you know. I mean, I'm sitting here breaking down, which will be up on my Patreon. That's patreon.com/@TheWayneBreezy. Tonight, probably like around 7 p.m. 7 p.m. It'll be up there. So I'm going to have the Renato Green breakdown. So it was cool watching some film on him. I think the Niners got themselves a lock, like a lock, straight up. Yeah,
I like it. I like it, man. That's what's up. Miss Debbie sent me a nice, beautiful package. I wanted to rock that on the show today. My man Ricky Waters in the building. I like this one, man. I like this shirt a lot. Yeah.
Me too. That shirt is fire.
Thank you. Well, thank Miss Debbie.
Shout out to Miss Debbie. And happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there. I know this is Mother's Day weekend. So happy early Mother's Day to all the beautiful moms out there. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you, mothers.
That is very, very true. Is it wrong to say to all the single fathers out there doing it because the mom walked out of their lives, happy Mother's Day to you too?
Happy Mother's Day to all the fathers out there as well. Like
I wasn't saying you had to do it, but
I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it because we do that for mothers on Father's Day. So why can't we do that for fathers on Mother's Day?
I'm gonna leave it alone. That's cool. I'm gonna leave it alone. That's cool. I like it. You like it. I love it, baby. Wayne, man, today's show is gonna be a weird one, man. It's titled Narrative Shifting. I saw this graphic online yesterday. Apparently, there's a top 10 GMs list going around. Have you seen this list? It's this list right here. All right.
No, this is my first time actually seeing it. GM rankings. Now, remember at the end of every year, Mike, they do like the top GMs. They got that thing that comes out, the top organizations, top weight rooms, top all that. And the Niners were ranked pretty high. So for Pro Football Network, I'm curious to see. I don't see Jed York up here.
Well, this is the GM, so this would be John Lynch.
Oh, John Lynch, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, no. But it's very, very interesting to me that this list is created for this season not last season.
Right. Well, did we
And-
check to see if there was one last season?
No, I
Okay.
did not. Because I saw this and my blood started to boil a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. The whether you're basing this off of draft or roster, I think the GM should be judged for the whole gamut of the roster. No.
Yeah, like signing free agents, making trades, keeping the roster together as much as you possibly can. Like,
Right.
yeah.
So how the heck are there 10 better GMs than John Lynch? Now, it's a loaded question. I'll be honest with y'all. It's a loaded question. And we have a poll running right now. I'm learning from my brother Wayne. How many GMs in the NFL are better than John Lynch? I got 1 through 5, 6 through 9, or 10 plus. And you guys out there, obviously it's a 49er show. We're going to have a bias. But I want y'all to go out there and vote honestly. How many GMs would you take over John Lynch? Now, all of last year, the NFL commentators, the experts tried to go on these long soliloquies about why Brock Purdy wasn't a real MVP candidate. Why Brock Purdy wasn't the real deal. Do you remember what all the excuses boil down to?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I do. But it was hard for me to listen to that because in my eyes, he was an MVP candidate and he was elite.
So
and I stood on that hill, probably alone,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
So I'm not going to spin the wheel, but for those of you out there watching right now, this wheel is a list of 21 names from just last season, right? 21 names. Now, Wayne, do you know what please tell the people what these 21 names are right here.
Free agent signings. That's what it
Some
says.
of those are in here.
Some of these are draft picks too, because I
Y'all
see
not
Mitch
supposed to be able to see that. Yeah, ignore that part up there. I didn't change it. Damn it, Wayne.
I mean, these just look like these are. Oh, I know what these players are. Are these Pro Bowl players or Pro Bowl alternate
Yes.
players? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The 49ers had 21 of them, bro. 21.
You know what I think it is, real quick, just to go off the narrative. It's Kyle Shanahan or nothing, and I kind of feel bad for John Lynch because I think he doesn't get the respect that he deserves unless stuff goes south, and then they want to blame the general manager. But everything else is all about Kyle Shanahan. And you got to remember, before there was a GM, the 49ers hired Kyle Shanahan, and then he chose his GM. With John Lynch sending him an email saying, "Hey man, I like the job. I like to, I'm new to it, but I would like the opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to be the general manager." And then Kyle's like, "Hey man, I put 5 on it. Let's go ahead and get it done." Right? And so that was that. But I just feel like the NFL, I just feel like the 49ers in general, like, will never get the respect. And they got to go out there and take it. You know what I'm saying? So why?
What other way is there to take it? No, not why. How? Like how? Tell me
I think
how.
I don't like. All right, when you go back and you look at the list of the general managers, the first thing you got to ask yourself is how many championships did either one of those general managers win? Right. So Howie got 1, Brett got 3,
4,
3. I don't know,
4,
but
right.
he. I'm just gonna say they got him.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I think Brian got 1. Was he the GM during the Aaron Rodgers era?
Nope.
Okay, so then no. Brad Holmes doesn't have it. Les Snead.
Nope.
See, when I
one.
see Brad Holmes up, Les Snead does have one. But when I see Brad Holmes up there, it's like for real. Like the Lions been having first round draft picks for 30 years, bro. Like they're finally
first-round
getting
draft
right.
picks.
No. That's what I meant. Like, top 5, top 10. They finally getting it right, right? Mike Brown, Duke Tobin, whatever. Brandon Bean, unsuccessful. I think it's because I think the Bengals and the Bills They got them that franchise quarterback, superstar, elite type of quarterback that everybody loved, the Joe Burrow, the Josh Allen. I don't know why the Buccaneers did win, so we can't leave them out there.
Brady got, yeah.
Yep. And then John Schneider, not sure how long he's been the GM there, but if he has those championships under there, that kind of fits my narrative. So you kind of got to go back and look at the ones that don't have the ring.
Well, most of this list doesn't have a ring.
Really? We just went through. We said Howie does, Brett does, Snead does.
That's 3, and we gave one to Lynch. That's 4.
And does Snyder?
No. Was he there when they won the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Russell Wilson?
That's what I'm asking.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. We'll give him 5.
So half that, and then the other half has those franchise quarterbacks.
No, Brian Gutekunst does not have a friend. Well, he hopes he does, but no.
They believe that. Well, okay. Now I don't want to say franchise. The wrong word. Elite, and Brian doesn't, and everybody else does. That I didn't mention had championships.
This is incredible, man. This is absolutely incredible. It's no matter what the Niners do, like you said, there's always going to be an excuse as to why they aren't at the top of whatever list. Like Brock Purdy, we had to convince 49ers content creators spent all year convincing people as to why he should be in the MVP candidate race, right? Like we spent all season telling people, no, he's the real deal. Put some respect on his name. You look at that same exact list and tell me another team on there that had 2 guys in top 10 voting for MVP last year.
No, but they come out, they mouths, and then they say that the Niners cheated because they had Christian McCaffrey. And I don't get it, but that's what they'll say. For Brock Purdy to not get the respect that he deserves because they went out and got Christian McCaffrey. It doesn't make any sense because Carolina traded us Christian McCaffrey and we gave them what they asked for. So
right.
It shouldn't matter.
Right.
It's they're 49ers, bro. That's what it is. Like this has to be the most disrespected organization in the NFL, bro.
And I don't think it's ever going to change, bro.
And people feel like
Niners,
people are going to watch this show and think we're whining or complaining, but we're not. Every year, I got to put out some type of video where they got to start respecting us. That's why I keep saying the Niners got to stop playing with their food and just go get it done. Like, they got to find a way. I got a comment in my comment section on, I think, yesterday's show, whatever, talking about us, I don't know what show it was, but it was something about, bashing Kyle Shanahan. He was like, this person was like, Kyle didn't fumble, Kyle didn't do this, Kyle didn't do that. And I'm like, you're right, he didn't do any of those things. He also didn't find a way to get his men to get through adversity and overcome those things either. And so, like, when I look at Kyle Shanahan, I mean, that's what being a head coach is all about. Everything not going to go peachy or creamy. It doesn't make him a bad head coach if we're constructively criticizing what he doesn't do well. There's a lot of things he doesn't do well. He doesn't call the game plan properly. Now, if things didn't happen and they went in his favor, if Christian McCaffrey doesn't fumble that rock, there's a possibility the Niners win. If Ray McCloud doesn't muff the punt, there's a possibility the Niners will win. Did Jake Moody miss a field goal in that game? I thought he missed the extra point. He missed it. Okay,
he missed a field goal, and then we went right back down and kicked one, and then it was
right. So
there.
if he kicks that field goal, it doesn't mean the Niners will win. Like, none of that means
it's Burford don't miss
the block. I'm just saying, like, none of that means we would win. The only thing that meant we would win is if Kyle Shanahan just kept his foot on the goddamn gas. We were still, how about this? We were still winning with all of that adversity. We were still up by 10 points.
And had a lead in overtime.
But my point is, like, Kyle has to figure out how to close it out. And no, he's not on the football field to close it out. But Kyle came out his mouth and said he didn't know the rules of overtime. Now, that doesn't make...
heard him say that.
He said something about the overtime rules. I can't remember what it was, but I felt like that's what he said at first. And then he clarified it and said he knew something about him knowing the rules and or blah, 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 blah.
Right. He wanted to go down. He said it was 3 possessions that he was worried about. The opening possession, he wanted to get a touchdown. That way, if the defense couldn't stop them and they scored, then it became next team to score. So all they needed is a field goal to win the Super Bowl.
But my thing is, I'm not bashing him for constructively criticizing things he needs to do to be better. The same way we constructively criticize Debo, yo, you got to learn how to get open. Same way we say, yo, you can't fumble the ball, Christian McCaffrey. How does Debo Samuel get more flack from the fan base than Christian McCaffrey, who fumbled the ball? Like, help make that shit make sense to me, bro.
I mean, I can simply state it, like, just look at the stat line. Like, one guy showed up in the biggest game of the year and the other guy didn't. That's what they're going to say. That's the answer to it.
But it's not all about the stat line. It's also about how he was utilized, right? So I'm not saying Christian McCaffrey wasn't great, but he fumbled the rock on an opening drive that the 49ers could have did some damage. Yeah, you could take the life out. And then when Debo comes in, he's down the field running deep routes. None of it made any sense because we were trying to figure out, why is he utilized this way? This is not even the way he's been utilized since his rookie season.
Who had the better roster in the Super Bowl from top to bottom?
It had to be the 49ers had the better roster all year.
Against any team.
Against any team. Against the Ravens, against the Chiefs, against
the
any
Packers,
team.
Against the Lions, against the Rams. We played the Browns. We didn't play the Bills, but we had a better roster than them. We had a better roster than the damn Buccaneers. And we had a better
roster. They had
roster
the best roster in the NFL, Mike, because every week all they did was talk about, oh, the Niners got these weapons. Niners got these weapons. They better get it done. They better get it done.
So for all these people out here making these goddamn lists, what I don't understand is how you can sit here and out of one side of your mouth and say Brock Purdy's not an MVP because look at that whole roster. It's loaded from top to bottom. But then you don't put John Lynch in a top 10?
Because they don't feel like John Lynch is the GM. That's what I'm trying to say.
They
should have put Kyle.
A slash. Bro, they
should have put Kyle. They should have put Kyle. I said they should have.
They could do that.
I don't. Wait. Who's the coach of is Mike Brown the coach? Who's the coach of the Bengals?
I don't know, and I don't care.
I think they both GMs.
If they wanted to put a slash, they could have put a slash.
No,
the 49ers should be on this list.
But I think those are both GMs. Kyle is the head coach. I think those are both GMs.
Bro.
I'm not justifying it, but I'm trying to justify that GM thing. I have to. Who the GMs of the Bengals?
But John Lynch proved his GM worth already.
Oh, hands down, hands down.
Kyle,
you asked me.
I gave you a shot with your guy, with Joe Williams. It didn't work out. So from now on, we're gonna have a system of checks and balance. And they implemented that system. The first year, Kyle, you got it. Cool. I'm new to this too. Right? But then they implemented the system of checks and balances. That tells me John Lynch has a value here. I'm not disagreeing with you. John Lynch, otherwise they not going to do it. But
we value him very high. I talk about how great John Lynch is how great of a general manager he is all the time. Like that. This is not even a question. It's not. I can't make these people listen. I don't know who's coming up with these lists or what type of criteria they use or rubric that they use to put these general managers in there. I don't know what they're looking for. I was just trying to give you some examples. Maybe they were going off of Super Bowls. Maybe they were going off of being able to draft elite quarterbacks. I feel like the 49ers. How does John Lynch not get into this and he drafts an elite quarterback in the 7th round?
Well, okay, and this is what Tony's point is right here. He said the Trey Lance trade hurt him. I think. Let me.
But I don't see how this trade hurt the 49ers if they're still winning. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So we traded first round picks, whoopity frickin' and do, but it didn't hurt our chances from being in the Super Bowl.
And none of those quarterbacks that were selected in that same draft have made it to a Super Bowl. So how does that count against the 49ers?
And on that point, when you traded him, you got the most in return. So after the end of the day, that's a win.
Like it's just so many like loopholes as to why the 49ers should. And even if you want to count that trade against them, they traded up to a spot, not for a person. They didn't know who they wanted to get and all that. I understand all that, right? Big slap on the wrist. Cool. What about everything else? What about the actual player trades? What about the free agency acquisitions? What about the coaching staff that they've assembled? All that falls under the umbrella.
You can't say that it hurt the 49ers in aspect of quality players with longevity. That can't be true.
We have done nothing but make NFC Championship or Super Bowl appearances since we picked Trey Lance.
Right. So just say it hurt the 49ers drafting in the first round.
Right.
Like, say that. But what if we get the quality players in rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? We drafted an elite quarterback in the 7th round. I can't stop saying that. At the end of the day, that should wipe Trey Lance trade out of the books. You could say that they got lucky on it. That's cool. Right? It doesn't matter. They hit. Like you go to the casino, you play the dollar slots, the $10 slots. You might lose on the $10 slots and then hit $1 billion on the dollar slots. I don't know. I don't do that shit. But I'm just saying, like,
but I get you, yeah.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, you don't know which one you're gonna win. And the Niners don't care about draft picks. Yo, they traded after the Trey Lance trade, they traded the rest of the draft for Christian McCaffrey.
Right. Okay. And he proved to got more voting points than Brock Purdy in the MVP race, which goes to further speak to just how good of a roster it is. Again, I put that list up there. Not a single one of those GMs listed had 2 guys in top 10 voting for MVPs. That just shows you how deep of a roster this 49ers team has.
Let me ask you this question. What do you think? Ooh, this is a good question. I hope I could get this out right. What do you think holds more value? Hitting on a first-round draft pick or hitting on a trade?
Trade.
God dang it! Are you supposed to take the other one? But yeah, I agree.
No way. Because every draft pick is
it's a gamble. It's a gamble.
It's every single. I don't care if you have the first overall pick.
Right.
Kyler Murray is still a question mark to this day.
Right. And when you go to trade for a player, you're specifically going after a player that specifically fits you, who you specifically want. I got to put that word specifically in there, more specifically. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? I think
because you've seen what they can do at the pro level, and now you want to implement them into this system. And so when you go out there and acquire a guy like CMC, it should wipe away whatever happened in the draft.
Like
it should.
I get the logic behind first round picks in the 5th year options and it resetting the money for the thing. Let me just remind the San Francisco faithful, 49er faithful, that there's a couple of things the Niners don't give 2 flying about. They don't care about the salary cap. They just don't give a and they don't care about who get paid what and how much they get paid. They just don't give a They don't care. If they want a player, they go get player.
Yeah.
If they want to re-sign a player, they re-sign the player. Mm-hmm. If they want to trade a player, they will trade. Mind you, they traded DeForest Buckner, y'all. Like, I know y'all know that they traded DeForest Buckner. This regime, not the regime before that they drafted. Mm-hmm. This regime, they were like, nah, you're not versatile enough, and you're going to cost us a little bit too much money. How about this? Let's make even. They released Eric Armstead, the one they chose over DeForest Buckner.
Yeah. Yep.
Isn't that the Bill Walsh mantra? Get rid of you a year before, like you're about to go out or something like that. Like listen, I'm just saying, like, but back to the narrative. At the end of the day, for some reason, they're not going to. John Lynch not going to get the credit, and I hope he don't care. I hope John Lynch keep going out there slaying. Remember.
I hope he does care. I'm the exact opposite as you. Now I want John Lynch to put his foot in the league's ass. Like you said, they got to eat. Now I'm back to what you were saying before. Now they got to eat. Don't play with your food, right? You finish that meal. That's how we were raised when we were young, right? Whatever's on your plate. I don't care if you don't like cooked carrots. Eat them cooked carrots. I don't care if mashed potatoes make you gag. Eat them, right? It's on the plate. You got to take it. I'm sorry.
I feel like the Niners front office, beginning with John Lynch, who is the general manager, I feel like he's doing a damn good job. And the reason why I'm saying, and I'm not saying that if I was a different if I was just an NFL head, which I am, but if I wasn't a 49er head and I just followed the NFL and I didn't have a specific team, there's no way I can leave the 49ers off of this list. First of all, the 49ers would be on the list because they're a top team in the league. They're top 2.
Yeah.
So if they're top 2, I need to know
in the top 10.
Who's running the top 2. If we're doing general manager, so if the 49ers are a top 2 team, then who running that team? Who's responsible for putting that organization back together?
Come on.
So I have to automatically say to myself, John Lynch. Even if I didn't know, I Google it. Who's running? Who's the team? The guy. Oh, it's John Lynch. Okay. I mean, they got to stop thinking John Lynch is just some football player and start respecting what he does
for the 49ers.
Yeah. Now we could talk stuff about John Lynch because
here we go.
That's us. But I'm not trying to tell y'all better leave these 49ers alone. The wrong fan gonna come after somebody.
They keep trying to make it like, oh, well, that's not a John Lynch pick. That was an Adam Peters pick. Oh, that's not a John Lynch pick. That was a Kyle Shanahan pick.
No Adam Peters this year,
pick.
bro.
That's a Johnny Holland pick. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm trying to tell
running backs
you.
Coach, what's his name?
Bob
Turner.
Bob Turner.
Right? Oh, that's not a John Lynch pick. It's a Turner pick. It don't matter. Like they say anything they can possibly say, including us, to discredit what John Lynch does for this team, no matter what. But isn't a good GM supposed to listen to the position coaches on what types of players that they want?
I tell you what, I wish our head coach was a good listener. I said that to say this.
I ain't touching that. Yeah, you gonna say something else?
Yeah, no, because listen, in order to be a great leader, you got to know how to listen. And you got to, if you put a staff together. So I think Kyle's responsible for his staff, like his coaches, like, you know what I'm saying? But I think John is responsible for making sure Kyle gets the things that he wants and his input on what he feels on certain positions or whatever. That's what that's what the scouts are for. Like John puts all that together. So yeah, even if Adam Peters had his hand in rounds 3 through 5 or 5 through 7 or this is that or whatever, that's cool. That's cool. But he ain't here. And in my opinion, with the picks that we had, we started the draft with 10, we finished with 8. We kept saying we weren't going to draft all 10. We kept saying that.
Mm-hmm.
We mocked as if we were, but we knew that John was going to wheel and deal. We've been wheeling and dealing since year 1, 2017.
Before you go any further, how do we know that they weren't going to keep all 10 picks?
What you mean, how do we know?
Because the roster doesn't allow for 10 new faces to come in here and make the roster.
It doesn't, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't have done it. My thing was there was too much value in this draft, and they were going to wheel and deal to move up. Mm-hmm. And they did exactly that. There was too much value. But once they started, and my what I'm trying to say is once we started seeing players fall, John was like, oh, let me get on the horse. And I actually think he waited too late. I think that's why they ramped it up a little bit on day 2, right? When they got when the Ravens jumped his bones and took Rosengarten, I think that's when John Lynch was like, everything not gonna fall to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So on top of that, John Lynch got 8 UDFAs in this building. So even if you say we didn't draft 10 because we brought in 8 more undrafted free agents.
But that's what's gonna happen when you got to build up to 90. They're gonna draft the people. We want this guy's rights for 4 years for sure, and let's see what he can do. Right?
That's not
everybody else. Just come on in. Let's see what we got. Let's just see what we are.
But what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't always have to. It doesn't always mean that. That does make logical sense. But when you look at players like Drake Nugent and those guys, the Niners might have found value just not drafted. It was the same way you said Frank Gore wasn't going to get drafted because there were the running back. Frank Gore Jr. because of the running backs, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, it just made him go undrafted. It was the same thing with the centers. It was a top 5 maybe. And that was throughout the whole draft. It didn't mean all 5 of those guys we talked about were going to go in round 1. I don't even think a center got drafted in the first round.
No, they didn't. I think the first center came off the board late second, early third.
Exactly. So my point is they might have deliberately not drafted some players because they knew that they were going to be available in the undrafted pool, and that's a contract type of thing for the Niners to save money.
The poll is over. I asked the question, how many GMs in the NFL are better than John Lynch? 1 to 5, 6 to 9, or 10 plus? 70% of the voters said 1 to 5. 25% said 6 to 9, and 5% said 10 plus. That's all I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear what the consensus was. I wanted to know what people thought. Is he, John Lynch, in your top 10 for GMs, Wayne?
I mean, absolutely. Like I just don't see how he's not top 2. You know? And
yeah.
you know, when you look at the San Francisco 49ers, like I said, I don't know if it's based off of teams getting to super. I don't know what they base their criteria off of, but I just don't even know how he didn't make the top 10. Like, it doesn't make sense. Because and just to throw this in there, because I'm a little slow. You're right. The Ravens GM took over for my man when he retired. Can't remember the dude's name, but he was the key there. It was a black dude.
Yeah.
And he was the key. But that blueprint, you can tell the Ravens are still following that blueprint. He's like Ozzie Newsome, right? Yeah. And you could tell that the new GM is following the same blueprint. You know, one of my favorite GMs in the NFL, I think probably one of the best GMs of all time, was probably Scott McLaughlin. I felt like he knew talent. Like, he just knew talent. Like, some people just know talent, and he knew that.
He was a GM before Trent.
Yes. And he just knew talent. And it didn't matter. When he went to Washington, still knew talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, some GMs got it. I think John is a great spokesperson. I think he knows how to say the right things. He knows when to say the right things. But I think when it comes to him evaluating talent, you know, someone in the chat, I think it was Tony G, says maybe he just, or somebody said it, I don't want to get it wrong. Maybe he has to pay his dues. Maybe he's still paying dues. Remember, he's still young as a GM.
For 8 years.
But he's been doing, this is his 8th season. Is Kyle a great head coach? I can't wait to see that one.
Nope, that's it. No team is safe when the Niners are on the prowl.
Wow.
I'm Mike. That's Wayne. And this has been No Harm, No Foul.
Peace.
Blow the...
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. See, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but we them nothing but Niners.